Alright, welcome back to Dunkscore Traders Hub. Good morning everyone. Right about now, as usual, you know the drill, and of course I want to welcome everyone who is already tuning in, and you are already on the stream. Welcome. So as usual, you know the drill. We start with prayer and we head out to the analysis, and we start off the day. So let's pray. Father, we thank you for this morning. Thank you for the beautiful morning. Thank you that we are back here for this session where we analyze the charts and be able to make money out of the signals you will provide to us. We give you praise, Lord. Thank you for yesterday's profits that we made, and for the losses, Lord. We know today we are going to recover, and even we make profits in addition. We give you praise, Lord. Thank you for today's profits. Thank you for the recovery, Lord, and thank you that as the week ends, we will still be profitable and much better than how we started the week. We give you praise. We love you. In Jesus' name we've prayed. Amen. All right, so Crash 500 is always our first asset that we start with. So let's now get into Crash 500. Please, this you can go ahead and subscribe if you've never subscribed, or you can still go ahead and give us a thumbs up as we start with Crash 500. All right, so with Crash 500, we wanted this anticipation, and then we come with a sell. Yes, the sale happened, but then on coming back to retest, it actually broke structure. So we didn't, I think moved out of the trades, but that sale was on like we had anticipated to reach there, and then we sell, but we couldn't sell. I couldn't sell until it reacts back again there, and unfortunately it broke structure, so it continued with the buy. It continued with the buy right about there. Now I want to remind you of what we had anticipated some time back. You know, the other time we had anticipated a pullback from here, from this level, but then it broke it and continued down. But on breaking and continuing down, we clearly see that we never got a break of structure. That is not a break of structure on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, that is not a break of structure, if you see that. And clearly it is matching with what we have on CCI down below there, meaning we are now oversold on weekly time frame. So if we go to daily time frame, that's the reason why we can see it being being on top of our 10 MA, being above our 10 MA. So the reason, okay, we can delete this, delete that for now, delete everything in here, delete. All right, so what we wanted yesterday was a pullback. We are looking for a pullback according to daily time frame in order to anticipate a reversal signal. Right now we don't have any reversal signal according to daily time frame. If you look at it, we don't have it, so we need a reversal signal, then we can come in with the buys later. So for now there's no business with this unless if we go all the way down below to lower time frames. So let's now first delete all that, delete this was not respected, delete all that, and now we have a point of interest right about there. That is an order block above there. If I go to H1, okay, this was H4. So if I go to H1, H4 is overbought. It's sort of overbought, but it's likely going to first reach that order block right there. Now that we've seen it, then we come to H1. H1 should be selling already, but we have a break of structure. We got a break of structure yesterday right there. We tested and continued with the buys, so we know it's going to reach that level, that order block. So we can't do anything now. We have to wait for sales to come in. Now if I can go back to H4, we have another order block down below. So we sort of have a range there, and here price has to play within, but this is going to be a good sell if price reacts to there and fails to break it. Then we come in with sales to bring us all the way back here, where we might start the buys according to daily time frame. So now that we know that, I can't advise anyone to enter buys. I would advise for you to wait and we get a reversal signal probably on M15 for the sales, for the sales once price touches or once price reaches that order block. Yes, where it is currently, it's a fair value gap. It can also be influential, but I'm going to just wait and see if it is going to get to that order block. So I want to delete that fair value gap and wait and see if it is going to do that to reach that order block, or if it is going to actually react on the fair value gap. So until then, no business with this. I have no business with this asset. All right, let's now head over to Boom 1000. Yeah, Boom 1000, we made a loss, and this loss was due to the quick entry we had. So let's go to Boom 1000. Yesterday was we lost 2 trades. Yes, yesterday we lost 2 trades, and I'm going to show them to you, all because of early entries. So this was yesterday, boom 1,000. Remember I told you it's likely to continue with this kind of a move right here, and that's what came through. But then it decided to come in, I think, with also this kind of a move. Yeah, I was not expecting it to give us that kind of a move. It didn't even reach the TP, but almost reached. Yeah, right there. So it didn't reach that second TP. So what we saw is our entry was, where's though? So our entry, let's delete this. Our entry, which was a limit order, was here. Those who remember, I told you I'm going to put my limit order here. If it gives us the target, this first target right here, then we enter with that kind of an entry, which was here. Remember at first, the previous day I had entered sales, but because of this support and the rejection here, I moved out, and then the buyers came in. They would have taken me out because of that kind of a pullback. Then sales began, but we knew they were going to, this support was going to hold. Unfortunately, it did not, and it gave us a fake breakout right about there, as you can see yesterday. And we had already entered and didn't want to adjust my stop loss because we are not market movers. You can't tell whether it's going to, these guys are going to continue pushing, because on H4 it was really showing we needed to continue with sales, but it was a fake breakout and the buys started due to what we had already seen on H1. So now I can take out that and then delete these two. Oh wow, I've deleted what I did not, what I was supposed to delete. So anyways, now that we've now seen that, I want to see where price reacted back to. No, I can actually use this now. I don't need to go all the way back there. Yeah, we already know price reacted to this. Now we can use the current data. So price gave us a low, gave us a breakout structure, gave us a new lower low, retested, came back to look for a new lower low, failed, and now it's trying to go back into the buys, you know. So now I can delete these two and look at, I can delete these also. We still know prices can easily go back up there before it comes in with the sells. This was a fair value gap which was never mitigated. Those who remember yesterday what I told you, we needed at least for it to come at least 50% of it. So apparently this kind of analysis is still on. We need it to reach at least 50% before we can come in with the sales, until we see a signal of the sales. So now that we've known this, I don't have any business with it. Let's see. This is breakout structure failure. Okay, so the buys should be starting according to H1. I should be in buys. According to H4, it is okay. Price is above our 10 MA, which is a good thing. On M15, however, why M15 says it's not ready. What? M15 is not ready. What is it trying to tell us? M5. So I have to wait for the next H4. Let me see this H4. Yeah, I have to wait for the next H4 to start for me to make my decision whether to enter or not for this kind of a buy, which is going to be just a pullback on the buy. Yeah, so I just have to wait for the new H4 candle to start All right, that's it. I have no business with this, but we know we are likely to make some buys today, compared to sells. All right, let's now head over to Boom 500. So yesterday we made a loss on Boom 1000. We are looking for recovery today. Boom 500. Boom 500, those who remember, told you price has to come there. We were continuing with buys. You know, those who remember, we were continuing with buys. And let me see, I think I was taken out today. I decided to move out, but those who are in signals, who are on VIP, you should have moved out with profits in as much as it was having low momentum. That is the whole of yesterday. And our entry was about here. Let me see where our entry was. Yes, our entry was about here. So this was the profit until it started to come down again, and I decided to move out of it today morning. So yeah, but we know that still it's going to go up. In fact, I should enter. Let me see if I can enter on M15. I think I should enter on M15 because it's still going up. It has to go up according to what we see. This is one of those that you know it has to go up because of the order block above. Because of the order block above. This is one of those that you know it has to go up. So that was a new higher high, so it has created a lower low, a higher low, so it should go back up. It should go up. It should go up right there, and then we can come in with sales later. That is the thing. But price is below our 10 MA on H4, so if I go on H1, if it goes above my 10 MA, that would be a good signal. That will be a good signal. So all I can do is now to wait for H4 to close. Then once price is above my 10 MA on H1, I think I will not hesitate to make an entry for the sell. As of now, I have a change of character on M15. So that means I'm not yet ready. It is not yet confirmed. I will wait for this kind of pullback on this level, on that level, which is a fair value gap on M15, right about there. So that's what I will wait for on M15. I can actually do it on H1 because I want H1 to be above my 10 MA. Yeah. All right, that is Boom 500. For it, we didn't make a loss. It's me who dragged, kept in, and I've made that kind of a loss. I closed them today morning. I was not supposed to close, but I said, let me close and make a new analysis. I see if I made a mistake or not. So I just realized that I've made a mistake to close actually. Yeah, manually to close. I should not have closed because the buy is still on. And it's going to get us all the way up there. All right, let's now get to V25S. This is one of those that I was furious the way it played games, and then after taking me out, of course, you know I don't trade without a stop loss. So after taking me out, it came in with buys, which were some good kind of buys that I missed out. So this is it. So yesterday you remember that we had talked of fake breakout and possibly to come around here and then we can enter. So it found my limit order here. It found my limit order here, and I entered right there, and my stop loss was very tight below this order block. Once it got momentum to break, it took me out immediately and came and reacted all the way back here. All the way back here. That is where it reacted from. And that's how I could not have kept in for this kind of a loss. So I had a tight stop loss, took me out. Once it reacted to this other order block, then the buy came in. Look at that. So that is one of the mistake we made to enter. I realized the mistake I made later was to enter before I get a confirmation, a clean confirmation on M15, because once price is still below the 10 MA on M15, that is not a good trade. So I realized it later that I entered when price had not given me the cleanest confirmation, which is always my 10 MA, and I didn't follow it up, and that was my bad. So I entered early than when I was supposed to enter, and I faced the consequences, and that's how I made a loss right there. But this was good money, and I couldn't enter because by then that was our second loss of the day. Yeah, I couldn't keep in the market. So today I'm looking for recovery, so we need to recover. All right, enough of that. So now let's look for recovery. So the buy, we still know it's gonna go up there. We need it right there, and it has now reacted back to this level, and we know it's going to continue with the buy. Price is not yet above our 10 MA on H1. Then we go to H4. H4 is still not clear, but according to our structure, we need buys. According to the structure, we need buys. Why? Because of this. It has now grabbed liquidity here. There's another order block down below here. This was a reaction on this order block, H4 order block. I don't think it's going to go all the way back here. I don't think. It is above our 10 MA on H4. That is a very good thing to support the buys, but then okay, so this is right there. It's right there, so delete that. So it's gonna come up there to touch that trend line that we know, and probably it breaks and gives us the breakout from what we see currently. So delete that now, delete that, delete this, delete that order block can remain. So now we see what we have, so delete this too. Okay, so now if I go to H1, this is a pullback, and it can easily give me an entry for the buy, but I need to confirm it on M15. M15 is not yet ready, so that means I wait. M15, I have to wait for M15 to give me an entry. But how? Because M5 is already looking for buys. How? Okay, I see a confluence area right there. So if price breaks that confluence area, that means it's going to break and continue the buys. But if it fails, then it's going to first come down to where I need to know where it's likely to come back to. Okay, I see the only fair value gap down below, but then I want to see according to Fib. According to Fib, that's supposed to be our entry. This was supposed to be our entry according to Fib. So something is not adding up here. Something is not adding up here. Something is not adding up here. The buy is likely to continue. The buy is likely to continue from what I've just seen. The buy is likely to continue. So I have no business with this asset. I need to wait for a clean structure that I can easily anticipate. Right now where it is, there's a lot of confusion with H1 and M15. So until that confusion is cleared, I have no business with this asset. Yeah, I have no business. This where it reacted from, this is a perfect retracement level for us to be entering buys. But then looking at the current structure, we on M15, it's a downtrend. According to M15, it's a downtrend, which tells me that if it comes and breaks this, then it's gonna come all the way down below to that order block or to that fair value gap above here, right here. So until I have a clear structure, I can't tell, because M15 is in the downtrend, whereas H1 and H4, we are still looking for buys. We are in an uptrend. So that's where the difference is. We need to first get M15 to be in an uptrend before we can start looking at entering the buys. So we are likely to start from here, the buys, but then if it fails to break this level, then the buys can still start from there. So we need to know those two levels. Remember, we also have this other fair value gap. It can easily come to that or to that order block. So know that these are all possible levels that we can make our entries from. So I'm going to take that out and now wait for the clear structure that we can use. All right, enough with V25S. Let's now head over to V75. Challenge today is I have a lot of meetings that I need to do, so need to get into, so I hope I'll be able to monitor and follow these analysis up for our entries. All right, so this happened like we wanted. Okay, not exactly like we wanted, but it came to our point of interest right there where we wanted buys to start from. This is a V75. So can we enter? That is a question. Now that question is very hard to answer, but so far we have a confirmation on H1, but we don't have a confirmation on H4 yet. We don't have. The only confirmation we have is that it has reacted to that order block, which should be giving us our entry. Looking at daily, and that should be also our confirmation. So the buys are on. The buys are on. Can we enter now? Yes, if you have a big account, you can enter now. But if you still have a small account, you can still enter and have your stop losses. Have your stop losses where? Use your lowest, smallest size. Yeah, so we will do this right here. That is where I'll put my stop loss, but also I'll put another limit order down below here, just in case if it comes back. But now we know that this is likely to be our swing trade all the way up there. We've been waiting for this for some good time, so now we can delete all this now. We don't need all this. Delete, 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 delete. Yeah, our TP is right about there. That is what we need. It may take even a week, it may take days, depending on the momentum. But as far as H1 daily time frame, all those are concerned, we have our entry right about there. Yeah, we have our entry right there. Yes, price is below our 10 MA on H1 on daily time frame, but if I can remind you about this, price was bouncing there. Oh no, something I've just seen. The price was bouncing there and coming down, bouncing, going up, coming down. Now it hasn't reached there. It has in fact failed to go back up. But now, just now that I've just entered, I've now realized that that has been a channel and it can easily break and continue with selling. Let me see what is happening on weekly. Weekly, we need sales to reach this order block. That is what we need to reach this weekly order block. So that tells me that things may change on H1. So if we get back into profits, please close your profits. Yes, we may first go back a bit, but this is not a time to look for buys because we are likely not to go up there from what I've just seen according to daily and weekly time frame. Yes, today's candle has started as a buy and a good one, but yes, it may close as a buy, but we know that the general trend is going to actually continue with sales, and this is the sell I'm talking about. That kind of a sell. Yes, it may go all the way like that, or it may just give you, we have many points of TP. That is like the last point of TP, but this is our TP right there, which is our first TP, which will be coming to our weekly order block. So this one here can be our second TP, which can give you a fresh breakout on weekly time frame. I want you to understand that. So in as much as we want buys, the general trend is still a sell according to daily time frame and according to weekly time frame. So be ready for the sells. Be ready for the sales. All right, so for now, that's it for me. I'm going to wait for it to get into profits and I'll move out. Yeah. Let me see if on M15 we are going to actually see some buys. Let's get to H1. We are supposed to be looking for buys. M15, yeah, a bit of that. So we may not exceed such levels if we are looking at buys. So our TP is likely not to exceed here if it happens to get there, because I'm seeing this in build up. I'm seeing something like that in build up. That is something I'm seeing in build up, which will of course eventually break out and give us this kind of a sell move, which will eventually break out and give us that kind of a sell move right there. We already know that. So if it gets back into profits, please move out. And wait. If it comes back here and gives you another entry for the buys, then you can enter. At least go all the way back there. There's fair value gap there, some imbalance to correct or to mitigate. Yeah, the buy is on, but it's not going to be a swinging one to get all the way back. The sells are still in control. So these are just pullbacks. If you enter buys, these are just pullbacks. You can't remain with them for so long. All right, enough of that on V75. Let's now head over to J50 and look at it. J50. So J50, we did not enter it yesterday, yeah, but still we wanted to enter from here. Really? No. Our anticipation was it's going to come and give us a fake breakout from this level, so we did not enter due to that. It was still not clear for us, and you can see it gave us a fake breakout there and then went back into sales again. Today morning you can see what happened. So now we can delete everything right here. So this sell, in fact, we should have entered it, but I don't think we could have risked that. So as far as H1 is concerned, price is above our 10 MA, but are we ready to enter buys yet? Yes, we've seen a fake breakout to the side we wanted, but it hasn't reached to that level we wanted. It hasn't reached the level we wanted. But looking at H4, this was a fair value gap. You have to understand that. So price has reacted back to that. Has it reached the 50%? I think it already did. If I can move this a bit here and bring this right there, yeah, it had already reached that 50%. So our price can easily react from there and go for the buys. But is that the clearest level we can think of? Let's use our fib. We had already used our fib yesterday, and we said price can easily react from there, but it's better. This is most of our entries, where we normally get our entries from, on discount around 61.8. So that's why we had our point of interest on that 61.8. So for now, I want to delete this, delete that, and keep on waiting, because price is still below our 10 MA on H4. So H1 and M15, they want buys, but I'm still skeptical. Yeah. So I'm not going to enter, but you can actually enter. No, don't. Even M15 is not confirmed. It hasn't confirmed that's the buys. So this is no go for us. Please don't enter any buys yet. Don't enter any buys yet. Yeah. Right here we have now a support on that fair value gap on H4, but it's likely to go all the way to reach this order block. So let's wait and see. All right. So the buy can easily take us up to that trend line. From what I've now just discovered, yeah, it can take us right above to that trend line. So all we need now is to have an entry on H1 and M15. So we will wait for M5 actually. We will wait for M5 actually for us to make our entries. If price comes here and gives us an entry, better. But if it breaks this level and goes down, please don't enter. Don't enter buys. If price comes here and gives us an entry and fails to break that, then you can enter. Probably once price gets back to above our 10 MA, once price comes back to this level, there's another fair value gap here. So we have many levels that price can react back to. All you need is now a reaction or a pullback on M5, not even on M15. It's gonna be on M5. Once you have that reaction on that pullback on M5, then you have your entry for the buy. And this is one that is going to give us recovery this is going to give us the recovery that we need for the losses that we made yesterday. All right, today we have to recover. I hope I will be able to get a clean entry. J25, we have about 14 minutes to close. Let's look at J25. J25, all right, so what we wanted, this kind of a move. Yeah, it actually happened. Let's see. It actually, it did not react back to that level, but the move went and then came back with sales strongly, gave us a fake breakout. Let's look at that. Gave us a fake breakout, but we already knew, I told you already that this kind of a buy or mean of a sell is going to happen, is likely to happen, and you can see it happened. Reached the TP level right there. From that end, reached the TP level right there, and then sales began, buys began. And then from there, this can be taken as a double top, a double bottom, and right there we can say we are currently having our change of character right about there. So all you need is a pullback to where? To either this fair value gap, and then you have your entry for the buys. This is on H1, but then now we need it on H4. So let's first delete everything right here that we've already used. This is a fair value gap right about there, so it may become of importance to us. So delete all that. All right, this is H1. Let's go to H4. H4, we need buys, and we had already anticipated that we want buys from this level to reach there as a pullback, then we can come in with sales later. So already that is happening. So what is happening currently? We need a pullback. So this H4 has started as a strong buy. This current H1 is a strong buy, so probably the next H1 is going to be a strong sell. Let's wait and see if that's gonna be the case. If it breaks that level, then it's gonna go all the way up, and that will mean we will have missed our buys. That means we will only wait for the sell opportunity, not the buy opportunity. So for now, I rather wait than making a mistake. This is J25. It's a big asset, high leverage asset. You don't want to find yourself on the wrong side. J10. So with J10, we wanted buys from here, but then momentum was still strong, so the sales continued, and we actually saw the breakout, the break of structure there. The breakout on that fair value gap. This was never respected, so you can remove it. So even this, it can remove. We didn't enter this asset at all. So now we clearly see a break of structure right here according to H4. That is a very significant one. We see a break of structure, but according to daily time frame, we are now oversold, same as of course H4. So that tells us that once price gets above our 10 MA on H4, or once we get a pullback according to H1 down below here, then you know you can have a sniper entry right about there. Then you know, unless if price breaks this previous lower low. That is unless if price breaks this previous lower low. If it does break the previous lower low, then it means we will still be in a downtrend. We will still be in a downtrend. So for now, what do? Go to HM15. We still have a M15. We still have a low momentum kind of move. So we wait for this kind of a pullback on H1. That is for real. Until then, I have no business with H1. First go to H4. Yeah, exactly. So daily time frame, right? All right. So weekly, it has now touched that level, just like we had anticipated. Those who remember, I had told you that we need price to touch this. Let me first remove that. We had told you we need price to first touch this weekly order block, and now it has touched it. So now we can say we are ready for the buys. We can say we are ready for the buys, in as much as this hasn't reached our oversold level yet. But what will matter will be the trend that we'll see on H1. I mean on daily time frame and on H4 going down below. So now the anticipation, like I said, was simple. On H1 we need pullback. We need a pullback here, then we can make our entry right there. So until then, no business with this asset. Let's now head over to gold, and we call it a day. Gold. I hope you guys made money yesterday, because we had already anticipated the buy and the sell still. And the sell, even the sell, we anticipated it. Now, this was the case. Those who missed yesterday's analysis on gold, let's look at it. So let me drag it here. So we saw this yesterday, and I told you we are likely to see a pullback back to this fair value gap or to that order block. But also we had down below, we had some order blocks down below on H1, and those were the ones right there. This one right there, we had already marked it. That's where we initially had our entries at first. So it came back all the way there, and then the buys started immediately. Look at this candle here. Look at this second candle of the buy. This is where the news started from, I believe. I don't follow news, I don't trade news, but once news find me in the market, then I'm okay. So I had my TP. I think I first had my TP around there, and then I shifted it to actually reach my order block right there on the daily time frame, and that's how I missed on grabbing a lot of this kind of money. But I had my stop loss in profits right there. I again entered the buys later in the night and took out when it touched the trend line and knew that sales are going to come. So that's how I traded this. So yesterday we made enough money. I was supposed to make even a lot more if I had remained on the charts, but I had a meeting. I had a service, so I went to church and came back to see it had already reversed like that. Let me see on M15. Yeah, I think I would have moved out on M15 if I was on the chart when that candle started, when this second candle started. Yeah, I would have moved out. But nevertheless, I made money, and that is the money that recovered the loss that I had encountered on Boom 1000 and on V25S. At least it recovered that loss. But those who had not entered the gold, so today we can look at the recovery. So now let's take out all this now. We had already seen it, so we can now take it out. All right, so this can also go. This is now our current support. Yeah, this is our current support. So H1 is still selling actually, so it tells us that it is likely to come to this level. It's likely to come to this. Remember, down here I told you we have that order block. This is an H4, I believe. That is an H4 order block that I told you we had it some time back where we were aiming at it, but now it seems it's likely to be reached. It's likely to be reached, and before we can come in with our buys again. Before we can come in with our buys, so it's likely to be reached. Let me just have it there for now because of what I'm seeing currently in the market. Yeah, it is likely to be reached. All right, so we have seen that. Of course, on H4 we need buys, but then it is looking for a retracement. If I use our fib, then this should be the level where we're supposed to be starting our buys. But then we have another block where this buy momentum started from initially. This was when it retested this one here, but it can easily come for this order block where the buy momentum started from. So we can delete that. Delete that, and now we can have our clear chart. Even this now can go, we no longer need it. Now we have our order block here where the buy momentum, initially this buy momentum started from. We also have that other order block, but this is two-way down, we can't go back to it. This is the one I'm seeing price likely to come back for before we can enter buys again. So now let's go for H1. H1 sales are still on. M15, yeah, sales are still on with low momentum. Anyways, not that much of low, but yeah. London session has started. London market is open now. So we are likely to see some consolidation right here. And then it can first go up after some consolidation. It can first go up and then later bring us into sales to break that level, to break this current order block. Yeah, so that is clear anticipation that I'm seeing today. And in this New York, we may see this, and then we get into the sales later. In the New York, we may see that kind of a sell. So let's wait and see. Remember, we are market followers. We are not market makers. So the big guys will determine whether there is enough resistance right here, enough price rejection right here to push price to break out and continue with the buys like we wanted earlier, and continue with this kind of a buy like we had already anticipated, or to react there and come and retest this order block. So all these two are our anticipation levels. The buy to continue to break this and continue, or the sell to first reach this H4 order block and then the buys come in. We'll be here to wait for any of those. But as far as we're concerned, price has to come to that fair value gap according to daily time frame. All right, that is it for today. Let's now look at a recap and we call it a day. So we started with Crash 500. Crash 500, it's still a no-go for us because of how it is. We can wait for it to reach there, and it has given us a pullback. In fact, we can enter the buys from there. I believe so, but price is below our 10 MA, so no rush. Just wait for it to be above our 10 MA on M15, then you can enter your buys to reach that level, but that will be a short buy. Remember that it's gonna be a short buy. Boom 1,000 until it gets back there. No business with this, so please don't put yourself on pressure for the buys. This is a boom 500. Boom 500. Price has now reacted back there. I think we can enter buys. I think we can enter buys. Yeah, I think we can enter buys now. Yeah, I'm entering buys again. I'm entering buys again today, right now. I'm entering buys on boom 500 again. Yeah, and still I'll have my tight stop loss right there. And this time, of course, the same TP. We still need the same TP right there. That is the same TP that we need. Alright, so my buy is locked in. I'm not going to put any limit order today. I'm just going to wait for that buy. I've entered according to M15 and M5. Yeah. V25S, the pullback has failed and now it has broken that level, meaning the buy is going to continue. So I have no entry for now. If it comes back there and reacts there and gives me a sell, then I can enter a sell, because that will be my two limits, this one and this one right here. So for now, delete this one right here because it has not helped us. All right, V75, we are in floating losses. I told you the general trend is a sell, but now we are looking for this kind of a short buy. That's why I entered the buy. At first I thought we were going to look for buys to reach there, but then when I looked at the general trend on the weekly and daily, then I realized that sales are still on. So all we need now is price. I want to delete this limit order here. All we need is a buys to reach up there. In fact, I can enter another buy right here. I can enter another buy order there, and I'm going to put my stop loss instead of down below. I'm going to put them right here. Instead of there down below, I'm going to have them here. That will be enough loss for me. And my TP, my first TP is right in there. Second TP is right there. J50, we want a pullback according to M5, and now it is going to start. That pullback that we wanted is going to start anytime from now. Anytime from now, it is going to start. And then once it gets to this fair value gap or to this order block, then we can come in with the buys. According to M15. So we wait. If it reaches all the way up before it gives us a retest, you know you don't have any entry. You know you don't have any entry, meaning you can either anticipate sales or to leave the trade and leave the asset alone until you reanalyze and get a clean. J25 has reached that fair value gap, so we've not gotten a retest, but if it does give us a retest all the way back down here, we can enter buys because we still need. Unless if it goes and breaks this and reaches that level, that means we have no entry at all. Then means we've missed on the buy, which happened before we started our analysis right about there. J10, I need a pullback here. If I don't see it, I have no entry for the buys. But if the pullback comes and breaks this previous lower low, then still I have no business with it. Yeah, that is it. And lastly is gold. So gold, we need a pullback there, then we can come in with a sell. And this pullback is currently going to happen in the next few minutes. So we are likely to enter it according to M5. Yeah, if we see any pullback, if you see any pullback right here, because on M5 we have that change of character here. So if you see any pullback, then you know that you can actually enter that kind of a buy to take us right there. So for now, we wait. This is going to be an entry according to M5. According to M5. Let me wish you guys a good day. Please remember that you can still register for the August class. It is on. The price is there, and you can also subscribe for the VIP for August, because now we are left with 1 week, I believe. So you can also subscribe for the VIP signal platform for August. It's only $15 per month. Yeah. Let me wish you guys a good day. Happy trading. Remember, those who made a loss yesterday on Boom 1000 and V25S, we are recovering today. So please, those on VIP, keep around, because once we get a clear entry, I'm going to be sharing those signals with you guys today so that we can recover. Those who never recovered with gold, because gold gave us the recovery, gave us a lot of money yesterday. Let me wish you guys a good day. See you tomorrow, same time, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. East African time. Bye-bye.